Okay, this is the multiplying and dividing using significant figures video. All right, again, we're going to start with an example. 15.04 times 1.3. Okay, equals what? Step number one, again, just like last time, is complete the operation. Do the math. And when you do the math, 1.3, you get 19.552. Okay? Again, there's our preliminary answer. We still have to do our rounding. Okay, step number two, and this is where it's a little bit different than the last one. Multiplying and dividing is just a hair different. We are going to round our answer. The number of significant figures to the same number of significant figures as the measurement with the least. Or the fewest significant figures. Okay, so if we were to look at our example again, 15.04, okay, times 1.3. So let's look at how many significant figures each one of these has. Okay, 15.04. All of these are significant. So we have 4 significant figures here. 1.3. All of these are significant figures. So we have 2 significant figures. Okay, so if we have one number, one measurement that has 4 significant figures, and we're multiplying it by a number that has 2 significant figures, we have to round our answer to the same number as the fewest significant figures. So we're going to round to 2 significant figures. Okay, so our answer again, our preliminary answer is 19.552. And we need 2 significant figures. So we're going to start on the left, find our second significant figure, which is this 9. And we're going to look to the 5 and use our rounding rules from the previous video. Okay? The 5 tells us to look to the next number. Because the number next to the 5 is a non-zero, we're going to round up. Okay? So 19.55 becomes 20 with a decimal because we need 2 significant figures. Okay? That's why we use the decimal. If we had just put 20 in there, you know, we'd count from the right to the left and we'd skip out on that 0 and just count the 2. But because we put that decimal place there, that makes that 0 significant. Okay? Let's do another example. Let's say that we've got 0.0043 times 8.967. Okay. Step number 1, complete the operation. Okay. You end up with 0.03859. Okay. Now, we need to figure out how many significant figures we have. So in this, our first measurement, we have a decimal present, so we're going to start on the left and work our way to the right. Skip these first zeros, skip all these first zeros, and we have 2 significant figures here. Okay. In the second measurement, again, we have a decimal present, so we're going to start on the left and work our way to the right. And all of these are going to be significant. So again, we have 4 significant figures here. We only need 2 because this is our smallest number, okay? Smallest number of significant figures. So we're going to count to our second significant figure, moving from the left to the right because we have this decimal right here. Okay, skip this first 0, 1, 2. Here's our second significant figure. We're going to look to the right, okay? we're going to look to the right, and because it's a 5, we're going to look to the number to the right of that. All right, the number to the right of the 5 is a non-zero, so that tells the 8 to round up. So our answer is actually 0.039. We have two significant figures here, and we have two significant figures here, so we are good. Here's your answer. One more example. Division is no different. Okay, division is no different. So we have 15.38 divided by 0.0593. Okay, and step number one is we're going to complete the operation. We're going to do the math. Okay, and when we divide 15.38 by 0.0593, we end up with 259.359191, whatever's in your calculator. I like to write as many decimal places as I can, just so I'm as accurate as possible. Okay, so we need to figure out how many significant figures we have. All right, the number on the right is pretty easy. They're all non-zeros. It doesn't matter where you start. Okay, you have 4 significant figures here. The number on the right, there is a decimal, so we're going to start on the left. We're going to work our way to the right, skip these first zeros, all right, and we're going to count 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 significant figures here. So we have 4 significant figures in one measurement, 3 significant figures in another measurement. So we can only have 3 significant figures in our final answer. So we're going to count to our third significant figure. There's a decimal here. So we're going to move from the left to the right. And we have 1, 2, 3. There's our third, the 9. Look to the right of it. Okay? The 3 tells the 9 to stay the same. Okay? Just like it did in 3rd grade when you learned how to round. All right? So our answer is 259. Okay? 259. The process is the same, regardless of whether you're doing multiplication or division. Complete the operation, count the number of significant figures in your measurements, and then use that number to identify the number of significant figures in your answer. That is multiplying and dividing using significant figures.